All right, the second topic we're going to talk about is power of a power. When simplifying an expression that is a power of a power, think of the group think of the group part as a big stamp. Then the exponent outside of the group or parentheses tells you how many times to stamp out your expression. So for example, let's say we have 2x to the fourth. All right, so our expression is 2x, and that exponent being 4 is telling us to stamp out 2x 4 times. So that's 2x times 2x times 2x times 2x. So we deal with it in parts. We have that number part and then the variable part. So that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's 16. And then x times x times x times x is x to the 4. So altogether is 16x to the 4. All right. Another example might be 3 to the 4th raised to the second power. Well, 3 to the 4th is our expression, and that squared on the outside is telling us how many times to write the expression 3 to the 4th. So we're to do it twice. So this becomes 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 4th, which is equal to, well, we already know from the product rule that we can add 4 plus 4. So that's 3 to the 8th, or we can just expand each one to count them and find out that there are 8 threes. All right, and of course, if we simplify this, 6,561. Next example is 2/3 raised to the third power. Our expression is 2/3, and this 3 on the outside is telling us to multiply it 3 times. So that would be 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. So that's 3 times, so that's why we just simplify it to 2/3 and then 3/3. All right, and of course, if we want to simplify, it becomes 8 over 27. So we can look at some more examples here. Well, we have 3x squared raised to the third power. Well, if we are to expand it or, stamp it, it would be that we have this expression 3x squared, and the exponent being 3 is telling us to multiply it 3 times. So that becomes 3x squared times 3x squared times 3x squared. All right. Or 3 cubed times x, and that's 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. So that's 27x to the 6. All right. So now, with number 2, we have 4xy raised to the 5th. Feel free to pause the video if you want to try this. All right. Our expression is 4xy, and it's raised to the 5th power. So we're going to stamp that out 5 times. So that's 4xy times 4xy times 4xy times 4xy times 4xy. That's 5 times there. And then x is being multiplied 5 times, so that's x to the 5th. Y is being multiplied 5 times, so that is y to the 5th. All right. Feel free to simplify the 4 to the 5th and write the result right here. All right. The next one, number 3, says negative 2x squared raised to the 3rd power. All right, so number 3, 4, and 5, I think you know what to do. So try those, and we'll go over them. Hopefully you've noticed a shortcut by now. When simplifying a power of a power, you multiply the exponents. All right, you multiply the exponents. So, for instance, if you have a to the m raised to the n, then you can just multiply the m times n. And then if you have a product, AB, and it's being raised to the m, then you can distribute that exponent to both the a and the b. All right, because there's two different bases, so you just distribute inside. And then if you have a quotient like a divided by b, then it's raised to an exponent. You can distribute that exponent to the numerator and denominator. Just make sure that base isn't 0. All right. It says simplify the following expression. So we have x squared raised to the third power. All right. And what we do there, this follows the first rule. Well, we have one base raised to an exponent and it's raised to another exponent. So instead of us doing x squared times x squared times x squared, we can just multiply 2 times 3. And we know that's x to the 6. And we're done with that. All right. Number 6, we can do the same thing. Notice that this is an example of the first power of a power property as well. So instead of saying 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 4th, we can just 4 times 2 is 8. So this is 3 to the 8. All right. So number 7, we have 2 over x raised to the 3. Well, that's definitely division, so we can use this quotient property here, power of a quotient property, where we just distribute that 3 inside to the 2 and the x. So that's 2/3 over x cubed. Not 2/3, I apologize. 2 cubed over x cubed. And we did that, and we're able to do it so quickly because of this rule right here. All right. So now, number 8, we have 2x raised to the 4th. Notice that 2x written side by side just means there's a product. So this is the perfect time to use this middle rule. All right. Our product being raised to an exponent means that we take each element or each part and raise it to that exponent. So in this situation, we have 2 to the 4th. And then we can have x to the 4th. 2 to the 4th is 16. So it becomes 16x to the 4th. And we're done. Number 9, we have 4 times 3x to the 4th quantity squared. Well, this is the part we're going to focus on, the 3x to the 4th that's raised to the second power. This is actually going to be a combination of properties because we have a product 3 times x to the 4th. So there are 2 parts there. All right. And since it's a product, we can use this product rule, power of a product rule, where we distribute our exponent to each part. So it becomes 3 squared and then x to the 4th squared. But notice how in this second part, that's a power raised to a power. So we're going to actually use this power of a power rule and say 4 times 2, which is 8. So this becomes x to the 8. And then we have 3 squared, which is 9. So 9x to the 8. Last one. This is also a combination of rules. See how we have a quotient here? But in the numerator, we have 3x squared. That's the product. So we may be using all of these at the end of the day. Let's see. All right. First off, let's deal with the quotient part. All right. We're going to use power of a quotient to distribute the exponent to both the numerator and denominator. So this becomes 3x squared raised to the third power over 4 cubed. So notice how the numerator is raised to the third power, and then the denominator is raised to the third power. All right. Now, the denominator, 4 cubed, that's just 64. So that's what we're going to write in our denominator, 64. But that numerator, there's a product here, right? So we're going to distribute the 3 to each element, the 3 and then the x squared. So it becomes 3 cubed and then x squared cubed. We're almost done. 3 cubed is just 27. And then x squared raised to the third power, we're going to use the power of the power rule and multiply 2 times 3, which is 6. So this is x to the 6 over 64. All right, now that's our final answer. All right, that was a little process, but if you take it step by step, you can do it. So this is going to be best solidified through some practice. All right, so now you're going to complete